everyone, I welcome you all to topic Decodified session of Analyst IAS. In this particular session, we will talk about earthquake in Indonesia. We will have this particular discussion in the following series. First, why in news, followed by what is an earthquake, followed by prelims practice question, followed by mains practice question. But before we start our discussion, I want you all to be informed about very important programs of Analyst IAS, which include current 365 program, which will start from 9th of January 2023, and CSAT program, which has already started from 14th of November. And along with that, we will soon launch test series, which include essay writing test series and PSIR test series. So you can inquire about any of the following on the given number, and you can also visit our official address, that is in Old Rajinder Nagar Market. So now let's move on to our topic of discussion and see why it is in news. The earthquake of 6.9 magnitude shook the land of West Indonesia. There was no loss of life or property due to this earthquake, but definitely it was on a very big scale. So now this particular news gives us an opportunity to go back into basics and learn about earthquakes and its type. So we will discuss first what is an earthquake. An earthquake, in simple words, is the shaking of the earth. It is a natural event and it is caused due to the release of energy which generate waves that travels in all directions. The vibration called the seismic waves are generated from the earthquake that travels through the earth and are recorded on an instrument called seismograph. The location below the earth's surface where the earthquake starts is called its hypocenter, while the location directly above it on the surface of the earth is called the epicenter. This thing will be more clear in this particular image, as you can see the focus, epicenter, fault and seismic waves. So this is a clear definition of what is an earthquake and how it starts. Now discussing further the types of earthquake, they are majorly of four types. The first one is the fault zone. The second one is the tectonic earthquake. The third one is volcanic earthquake. And the fourth one is human-induced earthquake. The earthquake events are scaled either according to the magnitude or the intensity of the shock. The magnitude scale is called the Richter scale. The magnitude relates to the energy released during the quake. That is, the magnitude is expressed in an absolute number between 0 to 10. Whereas the intensity scale is called the Marshall scale, or it is named after an Italian seismologist. So the intensity scale takes into account the visible damage caused by the event. Its range is between 1 to 12. So this was about earthquake. Now we will discuss the distribution of the earthquake. The first one is the Circum-Pacific Seismic Belt. In this particular, you have already heard about the term Ring of Fire. So it is related to this particular belt. The world's greatest earthquake belt, the Circum-Pacific Seismic Belt, is found along the rim of the Pacific Ocean, where about 81% of our planet's largest earthquake occur, and it has earned the nickname of Ring of Fire. And it is where the Indonesia is located, and that's why there are a lot of earthquakes which come usually, and they are adapted to these earthquakes. So it was not a very serious concern for this particular nation, but definitely its scale was very big. So the belt exists along the boundaries of the tectonic plates, where the plates of mostly oceanic crust are sinking or subducting beneath the another plate. This is a very important thing, that it is about the oceanic crust subduction. Earthquakes in these subduction zones are caused by the slip between the plates and the ruptures within the plate. So this is about the Circum-Pacific Seismic Belt. Now the other two region is Mid-Continental Belt. In this particular image, you can see all the three ranges of earthquake areas. The first one we already discussed is the Pacific Ring of Fire. The second one is the Mid-Continental Belt. The Alpine Himalayan Belt, also called the Mid-Continental Belt, extend from Europe to Sumatra through the Himalayas, Mediterranean and out into the Atlantic. This belt accounts for about 17% of the world's largest earthquake, including some of the most destructive ones. The next belt is Mid-Atlantic Ridge. The third prominent belt follows the submerged Mid-Atlantic Ridge, and the ridge marks where the two tectonic plates are spreading apart, or it is an example of divergent plate boundary. Most of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is deep underwater and far from the human development. So this was about the distribution of earthquake. Now we will understand what is the seismic hazard map of India. In this particular image, you can see the seismic hazard map of India. India is one of the highly earthquake affected countries because of the presence of technically active young fold mountain called Himalayas. And India has been divided into 4 seismic zones, that is 2, 3, 4 and 5. You can see this in clearly that it is divided into various zones of different color. Now, as India is divided between these zones based on the scientific inputs relating to seismicity, earthquake that occurs in the past and the tectonic setup of the region. Previously, earthquake zones were divided into 5 zones with respect to the severity of the earthquake, but the Bureau of Indian Standard grouped the country into 4 seismic zones by unifying the first 2 zones. So BIS is the official agency for publishing the seismic hazard map and codes. So this was about India's seismic zone map. Now this is the end of the topic. Now we will move on further toward our prelims practice question, which is a very interesting question. Read the following statement related to earthquake shadow zone and choose the correct option. Statement 1. The shadow zone of one earthquake is totally different from the shadow zone of another earthquake. Statement 2. Seismometers record both P and S waves at any distance out of 105 degree from the earthquake's epicenter. So your options are A. Statement 1 and Statement 2 both are true. B. Statement 1 is true but Statement 2 is false. C. Statement 1 is false but Statement 2 is true. And D. Statement 1 and Statement 2 both are false. Now moving on further towards our yesterday's question. The answer for this particular question is A. That is the common carbon metric supported by UNEP has been developed for assessing the carbon footprint of building operation around the world. Now moving on further toward our mains practice question. The question says, with suitable illustration, examine why the Himalayan region is more prone to earthquakes than the Western Ghats. Also suggest earthquake preparedness measures to abate the risk arising out of it. You have to answer this particular question in 250 words. Write your answer and send it to us on our WhatsApp number to get it reviewed. So this is all for today. Stay tuned with Analyst IAS to get further update. Thank you.